Okay, hi. So yesterday there was a cancellation, and Coco and Melody were having a bit of a panic attack, and so I said I would do it. And then, the panic monster, if you guys watch TED Talks, set in, and I was like, what am I going to talk about? And so I thought about some challenges and some risks that I had taken recently, and I put this together. But I'm a terrible public speaker, so we'll see how this goes. First, I think it's important that we start at the beginning. I was always a good student. It was my identity. It's who I was. I loved school. I was really good at school. So when it came time for me to be a senior, like most of you are, or a lot of you are, and you had to make decisions on what schools you wanted to go to, I wanted Vanderbilt. I'd heard about it, great reputation. It's been around for a while, considered an Ivy of the South. And I knew I had the grades and the activities. I knew I could get in if I could try. But there was a problem. See, I live in Florida, and in Florida, if you're really good at school and you volunteer and have a lot of activities, you can go to school for free. So I got a full paid scholarship to any Florida university that I wanted to go to. So my tuition would have been $0. And when I told my parents about Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, they said, oh, how much is that going to cost? And I said, well, there's zeros, but there's a few other numbers in front of it because it was pretty expensive to go to school out of state. So my loving, supportive, wonderful parents threw down the no really quickly. Absolutely not going to happen. When you can pay for it, you can go. And I said, fine, I will. So I ended up going to University of South Florida for my first 2 degrees, and even though at the time it was frustrating, because I knew I wanted to go to Vanderbilt, it wasn't a bad experience. So there was a lot of great things that came out of going to USF. One thing is I got to go to Cambridge and study Shakespeare under some of the best professors in the world. I met 2 of my best friends that are still my best friends. I know, Mr. Perez, right? You guys recognize that guy, yeah? I met him. I married him. We're still married. I met my future husband at USF. I joined a sorority. I was a USF ambassador. I was in all of these things because I knew when I was going to go get a master's or a doctoral degree, I was going to go to the school I wanted to go to because I'd be paying for it. But the thing that always stuck with me as I went through USF and I tried other things was, what if? What if I had gone to Vanderbilt? What if I had been able to study there? How would things have been different for me? And so I graduated from USF with honors. And I thought, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to keep trying, and I am going to find a way to go to Vanderbilt. I was going to go to law school, so it seemed like a logical path. Okay, then I got a teaching job, except for I got a teaching job when I was 21 at a school that had no resources, and my students were pregnant or in gangs, and they didn't have food to eat, and I thought, law isn't going to work for me. I need to stay here. This is what I need to do. And so I went back and I got a master's degree. That's my brother with me. He finished his bachelor's while I was finishing my first master's degree. And I did all the things. Again, I was a good student. I graduated with a 4.0. I was in the honor societies. I did all the activities. I did everything that I was supposed to do. And then in 2018, I was 34, I'd been teaching for a long time, I had 3 degrees, and I thought, now's the time. If we're gonna have kids, I can't be a mom and go get my doctoral degree and have a job. That's like a lot to do. I knew I couldn't do it. It's a lot for anyone to be a mom and something else. Kids take up a lot of time. And so I knew this was the moment. If I was going to do it, now was the time. And so I applied, and I got the letter that we all hope we get, right? The congratulations, we'd like you to be part of our community. And I was on top of the world. This is it. I had waited so long for this moment. This was the moment. This was the risk. Let's do it now. Let's go to grad school at one of the best schools for education. So I went home, and we went on a girls' trip. We go on a girls' trip every year since I moved to Taiwan. Catch up with my sister, catch up with my mom, my aunts. We pick a different place every year, try something new. But this year, we were going to celebrate me. We were going to celebrate getting into graduate school. We were going to celebrate what that meant. We were going to celebrate calling me Dr. Perez in 3 years. But when we came home, I didn't feel good. I felt like I was going to throw up. And I was like, oh no, I caught something on this trip. That's terrible. But then a voice in my head was like, yeah, but what if you're pregnant? And I was like, no, that's not possible. I just got into Vanderbilt. And so I took a test, and then I took another test, and well, long story short, there's only 5 tests there, but I think I did about 14, and they all said, guess what? You're going to be a mom. And I said, no, I'm not. And so we went to the emergency room to get a blood test because those were definitely broken. They were left in the heat. It could not be accurate because I was going to Vanderbilt. How was I going to be a mom and go to Vanderbilt, right? And everybody surprise, I was pregnant. And everybody I talked to said, but how are you going to do this? How are you going to juggle all of these things? And I thought about it, and at first I didn't have a good answer. But the more I thought about it, I thought, how could I not? I had worked my whole life for this moment. I had to take this risk. I had to take the dare. And so I read a lot of books I didn't want to read, and I threw up a lot. My entire pregnancy I was sick, and I took doctoral stats, which I was 100% sure I was going to fail, and I got an A+. And then I took doctoral economics, which I was also 100% sure I was going to fail, and I got an A+ in that too. And I kept getting A's, and I kept working hard, and I kept trying to balance all of the plates as I was going through this, all of my roles, because this was what I had risked everything for. And that's what my calendar pretty much looked like every day, because I was a department head, and I was an English teacher, and I was helping with capstone, and I was helping to build programs, and I was also a teacher at ICA, so I was taking other teachers' classes when they were absent, and I had things to do on the side, and I was developing programs and writing papers, and going to class every morning at 5:30, and then another class right after that, and then coming here and jumping in with you guys and teaching you what you needed to know about literature. And as quickly as I had gotten those tests, and it seemed unbelievable, the time just flew by. And before I knew it, she was here. And you guys know her. She's the pterodactyl screaming somewhere. And I missed my first class of the week because I was in surgery, but that was not a good excuse for my professor. I was docked points for not being in class. That's what happens when you go to a school like Vanderbilt. And so the next day, with IVs still in my arms and an epidural in my spine, I attended class. And my professor was like, I'm glad to see you. Now I don't have to dock you points. I said, thank you, sir. And I did. I went to school in the hospital, a baby in one hand and my laptop in the other, knowing that this was what things were going to look like for a while. And then, if things weren't stressful enough, after I had gone in person to study in Vanderbilt in the summer, and I had made it through my first year, and I'd had a baby, then coronavirus, right, which stressed everyone out. And then I got a promotion because I was doing good work here, and Dr. Cheska said, it's time, let's move you up. And so I was kind of like the dog in the room with fire, and saying it was fine, but knowing that everything was about to collapse in on me. And so I had to rely on the people that mean the most to me, because it wasn't just me taking this risk, it was them. And so my best friends, Jen, Robin, and Sarah, helped me to watch Sophia every day so that I could get my work done. And my dad watched terrible cartoons on repeat so that I could take classes. And Mr. Perez picked up where I was letting things fall. He subbed for me, and he helped me to grade things so that I didn't have everything collapsing around me. And my mom babysat Sophia the whole time. My sister taught my kid how to be a Jedi while I was in leadership classes, so that was interesting. Be careful if she has a sword. And you guys were the best part of this whole journey. It was ICA students that took in Sophia and treated her like she was one of you. You colored with her and you played with her and you took care of her so that I could have a second to get my work done. And I am so grateful to you ICA students. And so as things went on, I started this for me. This was my risk. But as things went on, I noticed she was watching me. And you guys were watching me. And it wasn't just a risk I was taking at that point. At this point, I needed to do this for us, to show you that no matter what obstacles are in your way, if you want it bad enough, you can do it. And so I did. I graduated in August. I defended my dissertation, and Sophia was there. She was sitting right there with me as I went through this. My family was in the living room. Marwood was on the phone. Perez was on the phone waiting for me to call and say I did it and that I had passed. And I can't read this because I will just cry, but this is the gist of it. This was my dedication in my dissertation, that I wanted to thank everybody who took this risk with me and everybody who went on this journey with me. Specifically, my daughter, because I wanted her to see that she didn't have to be a mom or a career woman. She could do both. Whatever she wanted to do, she could do. And I wanted that to be a lesson to all the girls, all the women in my life, because so often we're told that you have to fit in a box, and you don't. You don't if you have great people around you and the determination to get it done. And so there's 3 truths that I learned from this that I will leave you with, and try not to cry again. The first one is the people that you surround yourself with are everything. My support system is the only reason I made it through this. And for you guys, especially going to university, make those connections. Find your people. Find the people that believe in you when you can't believe in yourself, that lift you up when you don't think you can get back up. The second thing is your identity and your understandings are fluid. For the longest time, I was the good student. I couldn't be a mom and a student. I was the good student. I couldn't do it all because that's my identity. That's who I saw myself as. And if I hadn't allowed myself to change with my identity shifts and my understandings as they shifted, I would have cracked, because there were a lot of things that tested who I thought I was. And as soon as I let go of who I thought I was able to become who I wanted to be. And the last thing is that it's the struggle that gets you there that's worth more than the end part. I'm supposed to graduate in May. I got my letter from Vanderbilt. I'm supposed to walk, and I'm not upset about that. I thought I would. I thought I'd be really upset that I couldn't walk and I couldn't wear the gown and be with the people that I had done all of this hard work with for 3 years. But if I went back to Nashville, I wouldn't be here with the seniors. And I am so excited to see the seniors take this dare. I'm so excited to see what truths you guys find, because I know that going to university changed me for the better, and I know it's going to change you for the better, and I'm so excited to see that. And so, I waited a long time to say this, but thanks for listening to my TED Talk.